Hello, all, and welcome to week 29 of the Religious Education Initiative. We're continuing and actually finishing with the book of Exodus today. Last time we read chapter 35, where the children of Israel made offerings of various precious materials, metals, and cloths, and leathers, and so forth to make the tabernacle and everything in it. The next several chapters, from 36 to 39, actually narrate the making of all of these things. But then in chapter 40, which is what we're going to read today, everything is finished, they put it together, they dedicate it to God, and he enters into the tabernacle, and he dwells with them. So, chapter 40. The Lord spoke to Moses, "On the first day of the first month you shall set up the tabernacle of the tent of meeting. You shall put in it the ark of the covenant, and you shall screen the ark with the curtain. You shall bring in the table, and arrange its setting, and you shall bring in the lampstand, and set up its lamps. You shall put the golden altar for incense before the ark of the covenant, and set up the screen for the entrance of the tabernacle. You shall set the altar of burnt offering before the entrance of the tabernacle of the tent of meeting, and place the basin between the tent of meeting and the altar, and put water in it. You shall set up the court all around, and hang up the screen for the gate of the court. Then you shall take the anointing oil, and anoint the tabernacle and all that is in it, and consecrate it and all its furniture, so that it shall become holy. You shall also anoint the altar of burnt offering and all its utensils, and consecrate the altar, so that the altar shall be most holy. You shall also anoint the basin with its stand, and consecrate it. Then you shall bring Aaron and his sons to the entrance of the tent of meeting, and you shall wash them with water, and put on Aaron the sacred vestments. And you shall anoint him and consecrate him, so that he may serve me as priest. You shall bring his sons also, and put tunics on them, and anoint them as you anointed their father, that they may serve me as priests. And their anointing shall admit them to a perpetual priesthood throughout all generations to come." Moses did everything just as the Lord had commanded him. In the first month, in the second year, on the first day of the month, the tabernacle was set up. Moses set up the tabernacle. He laid its bases, and set up its frames, and put in its poles, and raised up its pillars. And he spread the tent over the tabernacle, and put the covering of the tent over it, as the Lord had commanded Moses. He took the covenant, and put it into the ark, and put the poles on the ark, and set the mercy seat above the ark. And he brought the ark into the tabernacle, and set up the curtain for screening, and screened the ark of the covenant, as the Lord had commanded Moses. He put the table in the tent of meeting, on the north side of the tabernacle, outside the curtain, and set the bread in order on it before the Lord, as the Lord had commanded Moses. He put the lampstand in the tent of meeting, opposite the table, on the south side of the tabernacle, and set up the lamps before the Lord, as the Lord had commanded Moses. He put the golden altar in the tent of meeting before the curtain, and offered fragrant incense on it, as the Lord had commanded Moses. He also put in place the screen for the entrance of the tabernacle. He set the altar of burnt offering at the entrance of the tabernacle of the tent of meeting, and offered on it the burnt offering and the grain offering, as the Lord had commanded Moses. He set the basin between the tent of meeting and the altar, and put water in it for washing, with which Moses and Aaron and his sons washed their hands and their feet. When they went into the tent of meeting, and when they approached the altar, they washed as the Lord had commanded Moses. He set up the court around the tabernacle and the altar, and put up the screen at the gate of the court. So Moses finished the work. Then the cloud covered the tent of meeting, and the glory of the Lord filled the tabernacle. Moses was not able to enter the tent of meeting, because the cloud settled upon it, and the glory of the Lord filled the tabernacle. Whenever the cloud was taken up from the tabernacle, the Israelites would set out on each stage of their journey. But if the cloud was not taken up, then they did not set out until the day that it was taken up. For the cloud of the Lord was on the tabernacle by day, and fire was in the cloud by night, before the eyes of all the house of Israel, at each stage of their journey. So, we've been getting ready for the tabernacle for pretty much 20 chapters. Since the children of Israel first got to Mount Sinai, God has been trying to prepare them for this. And there have been a lot of speed bumps and hiccups and just outright catastrophes on the way. as we read this, I think anyone who has any familiarity with the inside of an Orthodox church is going to see a lot of similarities. Not identical. We don't offer the animal sacrifice, and that's a big difference. But there's still an altar table. There's still a lampstand. There's still a censer, for the offering of incense. There's still this division between the inner holy place, the altar in the church, and the outer holy place where the people gather. All of these things, there's a commonality, there's a similarity. We're clearly dealing with the same sort of sacred space, and we're clearly dealing with the same God being worshipped in both places. So that's important. The other thing that we have to really understand clearly is, up to this point, Moses has talked with God. He has encountered God, but and they've been led by this cloud, the pillar of cloud during the day, the pillar of fire at night. But the cloud has descended only on Mount Sinai, and Moses has had to climb up the mountain and enter into the cloud there to meet with God. But now that the people have, in obedience to God's instructions, built this tabernacle, God's intent for this is not just that they do stuff for him. It's that they provide for him a space in their lives where he can come and dwell with them. This is really important. God isn't demanding a particular service from them just because he's arbitrary or because he's needy, even less. God's intent is to give his presence to them. But that requires that they prepare themselves and that they make space for him in their own lives. I would submit this has not changed. The way in which we do it, perhaps, has changed. But especially in the season of the fast, we have to be really conscious that this is exactly what we are doing. We are attentively taking the stuff of our daily life and we are making space in it for God. Not because God is arbitrary and demands that we do a list of arbitrary things for him so that he's not angry at us. The goal here, the purpose here, is always that he enter in and dwell with us and remain with us. And we really can't underline this point strongly enough, that from this moment, God is visibly present with the people through everything else that happens. They can look up at any time of day and see the pillar of cloud resting on the tabernacle. At night, they see it glowing with fire from inside. This is a profound change. This is not just a change. This is a profound reality and experience. They are in the presence of God. God is in their midst. And it's worth noting that this is also the traditional and ancient greeting of Christians one to another at all times of year. We say, Christ is in our midst. And we respond, he was, even with the Israelites in the desert, and he is, and he shall be. He was, and he is, and he shall be. God is with us. The question for the Israelites and for us is, are we with God? So, God bless you all. I'll see you on day 2. Have a wonderful day.